Welcome to the Objective Christian YouTube channel, where we talk about life, about God, and whatever people disagree about. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and get notified of new episodes. In this episode, we're going to take an objective look at the Big Bang Theory. Let's begin. If I were to ask you, how did the universe begin? What would your answer be? How did we arrive at our current form of existence? Do you ascribe to a purely scientific explanation like the Big Bang Theory? Or is it based upon your religious beliefs? There is an answer, but can it be determined with certainty? Let's take a look. I believe that there are two main competing viewpoints on how the universe began. First is the Big Bang Theory, and the second is intelligent design. Let's start with the Big Bang Theory. This is the information that I pulled from space.com. The link is in the description. The Big Bang Theory is the idea that the universe began as just a single point, then expanded and stretched to grow as large as it is right now, and it is still stretching. Around 13.7 billion years ago, everything in the entire universe was condensed in an infinitesimally small singularity, a point of infinite denseness and heat. And then suddenly, an explosive expansion began, ballooning our universe outwards faster than the speed of light. This was a period of cosmic inflation that lasted mere fractions of a second, about 10 to the negative 32 of a second, according to physicist Alan Guth's 1980 theory that changed the way we think about the Big Bang forever. So, when cosmic inflation came to a sudden and still mysterious end, the more classic descriptions of the Big Bang took hold. A flood of matter and radiation, known as reheating, began populating our universe with the stuff we know today: particles, atoms, the stuff that will become stars and galaxies and so on. And over the course of time, on one single planet, the planet that we live on today, as far as we know, life began and developed and evolved to where it is today. My issue with the Big Bang Theory, or with any alternative to intelligent design to explain the beginning of the universe and how we got to where we are today in terms of creation, is that they tend to create more questions than answers. For example, in the Big Bang Theory, it states that the universe began at a single point, a singularity. Well, how did the singularity come to exist? Did it just create itself, or where did it come from? Some other questions that I have just looking at our observable universe is, why spheres? Okay, we look at all of our planets in our solar system, the 8 planets in our solar systems. Why did they form into spheres? Why not cubes? You see, it makes, in my opinion, there are a lot of assumptions that are made, or a lot of things that have to be in place in order for the order that we have in our universe to be. Additional questions or additional thoughts that I have is, so in the beginning, you have this big expansion. Now, scientists have kind of over time distinguished that it was not an explosion, but an actual expansion. So you have this expansion of infinite denseness, and over the course of time, billions and billions and billions and billions of years, with no assistance from anything, somehow our galaxy comes to form. Now, obviously, there are other galaxies that exist in addition to ours, but as far as we know, our galaxy is the only one that contains life. So somehow, our galaxy comes to form. And not only does it form, but you have this huge star, our sun, sitting at the center of our galaxy. And over the course of time, somehow, you have these bodies of rocks that form themselves into spheres, one. Not only do they form themselves into spheres, they spin on an axis, each of the planets. They spin and they rotate on an axis. Not only do they spin and rotate on an axis, but they then in turn begin to rotate around the star in the center. And it seems to me that it takes too much for that to be random, or for all of that order to be generated out of chaos and randomness. Somehow all of these things just came into place without any assistance, without any intelligence at all. Because when we say that, if we look at the beginning of the universe or the creation of the universe, and there is no intelligent design, no fine tuning, nothing was involved, that means that the alternative is that it all happened out of randomness and chaos, and that there was no involvement from any intelligent being at all. Now, I'm not saying that there are not places where science and intelligent design kind of meet, or where they come together, but to state that there was no level of intelligence involved in the creation of the universe and things just popped into being out of nothing, that sounds a lot more far-fetched and completely irrational to assert that view. I will say that even though some may agree that an intelligent being created the universe, they may not believe that intelligent designer or being is the God of the Bible. But as a Christian, I believe, and I think that the logical conclusion that can be reached is that an intelligent designer, the God of the Bible, created the universe. I believe that the universe is too fine-tuned for it to be random, and it is impossible for the universe to be self-caused. Even scientists agree that the universe began to exist. And we know that anything that begins to exist has a cause, and therefore we conclude that the universe, since it began to exist, has a cause, and that cause is God. God is the uncaused first cause, because God did not begin to exist. He has existed from eternity. We may debate about the time frame of how long it has taken us to get here, because even in the Christian community, there is still some debate about how long the universe has existed. But what's not up for debate is the fact that we can clearly see design and intelligence in the universe in which we exist. The last thing that I want us to do is just to take a few minutes just to think. If we look at everything that we as humans have made, laptops, all the different types of smart devices that we have, all of the military advances, all of the personal advances, houses and cars, we know that when we look at these things, we as intelligent creatures have created this. We took raw materials, put them together to create all of these various things. But comparatively speaking, when we look at what we have made and we look at the raw materials themselves, let's take a look at single cell organisms, or DNA, or the human genome, or proteins, or the basic building blocks of life, things that we have not created, but that was just here, right? Here when we as humanity came on the scene, or think about all of the animals that are here, all of the insects. Think about the earth itself and all of the various planets and galaxies. When we compare that to what we have created, those things are far more complex than anything that we can make ourselves. And to say that what we have made requires intelligence, but these things that are far more complex did not require any level of intelligence to create, I think is extremely irrational, an extremely irrational conclusion to draw, comparatively speaking. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. I look forward to engaging with you and hearing your thoughts in the comments. Please like, subscribe, and get notified of our upcoming episodes.